What's up, guys? It's your boy Jameka here, coming at you with another episode of our Pain Drivel Master Series. This next deck tech is going to feature Dragonis 77's Blue Back Control. Start off with just talking a little about the format, and then we're going to talk a little about the deck. So, Season 2 started. It was the very first time we did a rotation. Rotations were a little different back then. It was just a one-day snapshot, as opposed to what we're doing right now is a whole week of looking at all the cards for one penny. So, we just basically looked at a day right before rotation, and we just took that data, and that was it. So, and then two things happened. So one, we did a first rotation, and secondly, we started doing tournaments on a site called Gathering.com. There was a guy named Chaos Black Doom. He proposed that we should do tournaments, and he introduced us to the wide world of Gatherling. Gatherling is a free player run event sort of site where you could run tournaments, and it just had its own platform. It had its own pairing system. It was really neat. It was really new to a lot of people. So we had our first tournament pretty much a week or two after the season started. Pretty sweet. We had about 30 people. It was a really huge tournament. And this deck was not this deck specifically, but this archetype was the archetype that won. It was Blue Back Control from Dragonis 77. He beat Riker Boys Mono Black Demonic Rising control deck. It was kind of like his pet deck, but it was really cool. But yeah, Blue Black Control came out on top, and it became one of the more popular decks for the first half of the season. And rightfully so. It was a good deck, you know? There were a lot of really... When you think of the cards that were really prevalent in that time, it was Hymn to Torak. There were still mono red cards. They weren't really a lot of decks were really untuned. And this deck, and Dragonis took a lot of work, and he put a lot of work in this deck, and he won several tournaments, and this was one of his last lists before the season ended, so we're just gonna go right through it. Let's see, we're gonna start with 24 lands. It doesn't seem like a ton of lands, actually, but it all makes sense later, I guess. This is funny. This card in Defiant Academy seems silly, but because of the prevalence of Hymn to Torak, it was just kind of this one of necessary things. A bunch of twos, tons of two-drop sort of spells. Anticipate kind of sets everything. Essence Scatter, Remove Soul, just a split because Memorisite was really big back then. Devour Flesh and Ultimate Price were pretty much the two best 2-mana answers in anything. And a couple Distresses. Sudden Death was really good. It was just an uncounterable sort of spell you needed. Dissolve and Thought Mind. Kind of any answer counter spells. Factor Fiction was one of the bigger cards. It just sets up everything here. And Neverill's Disc, I remember that. That was such a big card for so many decks, and just giving this deck so many legs. You needed some sort of colorless wrath effect. This was one of the best ones that we've had. We've never had that after this season, actually. Haunted Plate Mail, just another way to win. There's very few win conditions here. Actually, it's actually more than you think, but this was just one of those little mid-game things where you just kind of block, or once the game's over, you just kind of start swinging for 4. Far and away, it was a crowd favorite. This card is always good in this format. It's always going to be good. Docent Direction's kind of hard to see there, but just kind of fit the deck perfectly. You had so many instants and sorceries, you just kept pumping out little wizards. Aetherling was another big one. We had this in a couple seasons. I think in season 2, and I think in season 3 as well. But if you play this in standard, you know how annoying this is to beat. And this card was pretty also unbeatable. I don't know if you really beat it as something like Sudden Death, if they kind of caught him slipping. So Sudden Death again coming even with the mirror was really good. Rise from the Tides, another staple of this kind of format. Or sort of archetype, the way of finishers. And Treasure Cruise, always going to be good, in any format. One of the other darling cards was Scrabbling Claws. It was one of the only few cheap removal spells for graveyards, so it made Rise a little worse, but this is probably the most popular sideboard card ever in A Dreadful's history. Like I said, Memoricide's really big. Nature's Ruin, always a big hoser. Coffin Purge, this is a weird split. I don't know why I did both, but I guess sometimes you need instant speed stuff. There were some sort of reanimator type strategies, things like that. You kind of do an instant speed. Telement Force was funny, and kind of the control mirrors. A lot of control decks can have a few creatures, so Telement Force can kind of just nug a deck all at once. Douse, the ultimate red hoser. Mono red became a deck. I mean, it's always a deck in any format, so This is one of the biggest hosers of them all. You just like put it down and just they can't play red spells anymore as long as they have 2 up. And negate some flash freezes. Negate, it's in and out the format a lot. So it was in season 1 as well. So negate's just an all-star deck, all-star sideboard card. Even main deckable. I've main decked it before. But yeah, I just remember Blowback Control just being very good for a while, and I think especially when we started the gathering tournaments, the players were split between people that were on the Discord and just actively playing in leagues. We still had leagues. We started doing the what do you call it? The Google spreadsheets leagues, and the people were in Gathering because Gathering had their own community where people will just play in their tournaments. So when you live in a world of tournaments, you live in a world of net decking, and since this was the first deck, this deck became very popular. People just started copying it and started playing it over and over. So there were a lot of times where we played a lot of blue-black mirrors. You just see a lot of blue-black mirrors, or just had to play the deck a lot. So the deck got wildly popular. It was an interesting time, for a format so fresh to have control deck on top. It was interesting, but Dragonis did a really good job in this deck. He actually won several tournaments with the deck, so shout out to him. He was one of the first few streamers also that streamed Penny Dreadful. I came a little after him, but he was a streamer that he really helped out in the content of Penny Dreadful. So he deserves to be on this list. He was a big pioneer in a lot of different ways. Shout out to you, Draconis, if you're out there watching. But that's gonna wrap up this little episode. In the next episode, we're gonna go to another season 2 list that eventually trumped this list. So thank you guys for watching. I'll catch you in the next episode.